closest friend. Those crimes supported by the convicted sex trafficker, Ghislaine Maxwell, who Donald Trump has publicly considered pardoning. The Attorney General of the Virgin Islands wrote, quote, another victim who was first engaged to provide massages to Epstein was then forced to perform sexual acts in the Virgin Islands. When she attempted to escape the private island, Epstein and a search party found her, returned her to his house, and suggested physical restraint or harm if she failed to cooperate. According to that description by the Attorney General of the Virgin Islands, Jeffrey, kidnapper and raper of children. That's who Donald Trump's closest friend was. Trapped them on an island when they desperately try to escape, desperately trying to find a way to cross that 2 miles of high current, difficult ocean between Epstein Island and St. Thomas, a swim that could cost them their lives. Jeffrey Epstein captures them, confiscates the passport. And Donald Trump and his Attorney General have spent the year telling people there is nothing to see in the Epstein files, nothing. There is no reason to release the Justice Department and the FBI's investigative file on Jeffrey Epstein and his criminal co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell. The Democrats on the House Oversight Committee released the photographs of Epstein Island today. They said they released the photographs in the interest of transparency. Unlike Donald Trump and his Attorney General and his FBI Director, Democrats on the House Oversight Committee want people to know what they are finding and what they are seeing when material is turned over to them from the Epstein estate and through other subpoenas they have served on financial institutions. The committee has received financial records from J.P. Morgan and Deutsche Bank, and the Democrats on the committee might be releasing some of that material after they have thoroughly examined it.
As I've been saying throughout this entire period, Robert Garcia has shown exceptional leadership and effectiveness as the ranking member on the Oversight Committee. His work has been truly commendable. But the reality is this: the files, the photos, the videos, the documents, the flight logs, and especially the bank records that aren't included in the Epstein files are staggering. And despite the massive scope, around 20 financial institutions that handled Epstein's transactions, James Comer has only subpoenaed 2 of them so far. Garcia highlighted this point in an interview we did recently. What's becoming clearer by the day is that there is far more evidence emerging than what Pam Bondi can block. No matter how much this administration tries to stall or throw obstacles in the way, they can't stop subpoenas to the Epstein estate. They can't stop new survivor accounts or the discovery of deeper connections to Epstein's network, all of which help expose just how extensive his pedophile ring truly was. And with this evidence piling up, it becomes impossible for Donald Trump to continue claiming it's all a hoax, especially now that Joe Rogan himself is calling him out.
Bro, the Epstein files.
I heard there's no files. I heard it's a hoax. And then all of a sudden, he's going to release the files. Well, I thought there was no files.
Man.
He wants an investigation now.
Listen.
Like, what is going on?
They voted 427 to 1.
Who was the one?
Whoa, who's the one?
I didn't see why he said, but he did.
National security.
Let me pull it
No fucking way you gonna be the one. No,
security.
It's becoming obvious that Joe Rogan is finally waking up, at least a little. And to be clear, I'm not giving him credit for it. He doesn't get a pass here. He can mock Donald Trump all he wants now, but he was part of the problem. You can't act outraged about mass deportations when you were laughing and joking with Trump about them just a year ago. You can't pretend to be shocked that Trump never released the Epstein files when there are countless photos, videos, and audio clips showing Trump and Epstein together. It's ridiculous. But regardless, Rogan seems fed up. He's gone so far as to openly mock Trump and even share his text messages, something I never expected him to do. Joe Rogan shares odd Trump's weird texting habit. Joe Rogan called 79-year-old President Donald Trump a kid and revealed his bizarre texting habit on his latest podcast. On Wednesday's episode of The Joe Rogan Experience, Spotify's top podcast for the 5th consecutive year. Although Midas Touch is catching up, Rogan offered a surprisingly different take on the president, sharing anecdotes that paint him in an unexpected light. He makes the text go big like USA is respected again, all caps, and it makes the text enlarge. It's kind of ridiculous, the text said to NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang. The two discuss their perspectives on the president, with whom they both have a friendly relationship. He's an odd guy, Rogan told the CEO, sharing that the president often texts or calls him out of the blue. The NVIDIA CEO has previously been called a friend and a smart man by the president. While Rogan, of course, endorsed him in 2024. Rogan admitted that much of the focus of the president is around negative narratives. Yes, because there are so many. But he also acknowledged that there's a lot of things he does that he shouldn't, including telling a reporter to quiet Piggy. Rogan has previously criticized Trump for flip-flopping on the release of the Epstein files, which the president, after months of claiming they didn't exist, later said he would be releasing them by signing legislation. The president, whom Rogan said can act like a 79-year-old kid, has, despite the deteriorating physical and cognitive health, been compared to a child on other podcasts this week. Rogan pointed out the strange way Donald Trump texts, always shouting in capital letters, always frantic, and he says Trump does it constantly. It immediately reminded me of that moment during Kamala Harris's DNC speech, when Trump was rapid-firing Truth Social posts in all caps, and it later became clear someone else was typing them for him. Now, I do think Trump personally sends some of his posts, the ones filled with typos, misspellings, or just completely bizarre wording. But honestly, at this point, it feels just as likely that he has staff sending many of these texts and posts on his behalf. And this ties into something the media constantly gets wrong. Whenever we talk about Trump's obvious cognitive decline and try to get the truth to break through, the media jumps in with, well, Trump calls and texts constantly, he works harder than anyone. Reporters like Jake Tapper act as if receiving random, incoherent messages from Trump equals hard work. It boosts their egos to think the President of the United States is personally texting them, so they mistake chaos for productivity. Jake Tapper literally did an entire text interview with Trump, couldn't even confirm Trump was the one on the other end, and ended the segment by saying Trump refused to answer a lot of questions. But he never told us what those questions were. Incredible journalism, Jake. The truth is these guys love feeling important. So when they get texts from Trump, or more likely from Stephen Miller or some random aide, they act like it proves Trump is tirelessly working. Give me a break. So let's finally get rid of this ridiculous narrative that Donald Trump is burning the candle at both ends just because he's posting at 1 a.m. When I'm lying in bed at that same time, scrolling Twitter, replying to random posts, quoting nonsense, and sharing that hilarious Mike Johnson meme where he goes, "Oh my God," while also looking at brutal polling numbers, nobody says, "Wow, Jack is working so hard." No one considers that grinding, so why do we pretend Trump is some unstoppable work machine? The media might push that fantasy, but it's nonsense, and it needs to be called out. And speak